Let's begin with something simple, almost uncomfortably simple. Food, not calories, not macros, not trends. Food. For most of human history, eating was a direct relationship with the earth. What we consumed was alive, grown from soil, exposed to sunlight, shaped by seasons. It carried information, micronutrients, fiber, enzymes that our biology evolved alongside for thousands of years. Our immune system didn't just tolerate that food, it depended on it. Then, gradually, we replaced nourishment with convenience. Ultra-processed foods are engineered for shelf life, hyperpalatability, and profit. They are stripped of fiber, flooded with refined sugars, damaged fats, and synthetic additives. They stimulate dopamine pathways far more intensely than natural foods ever could. And here's where the issue becomes psychological as much as biological. We didn't just change what we eat, we changed how we relate to eating. Food became entertainment, stress relief, distraction. It stopped being fuel and became emotional anesthesia. Biologically, the consequences are profound. Around 70% of the immune system resides in the gut. When we flood that system with refined sugars and chemical preservatives, we disrupt the gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria that regulate inflammation, immunity, even mood. Chronic low-grade inflammation becomes the norm. Blood sugar spikes become routine. Insulin resistance creeps in quietly. Over time, the immune system shifts from being resilient and responsive to being confused and overworked. Philosophically, this reflects something deeper. We chose immediacy over integrity. We prioritize taste over function, speed over sustainability, and in doing so, we slowly disconnected from the biological wisdom that kept us strong for generations. No single meal destroys your defenses. That's not how it works. It's the repetition. The daily small compromises. The normalization of what should have been occasional indulgence. The body adapts until it can't. The powerful truth is this: the same system we weakened can recover. The human body is remarkably intelligent when given the right inputs: whole foods, fiber-rich plants, clean proteins, healthy fats. These are not trends. They are biological requirements. When we return to them consistently, inflammation drops, gut diversity improves, immune resilience strengthens. We didn't lose our natural defenses overnight. We traded them slowly. And the question now is simple. Are we ready to trade back? Now consider movement, not exercise as a scheduled activity, not gym memberships or step counters, but movement as a biological expectation. The human body was not designed for stillness. For hundreds of thousands of years, survival required walking long distances, carrying loads, climbing, building, working with the hands. Movement wasn't optional. It was woven into daily life. Our cardiovascular system, our muscles, even our immune cells evolved under the assumption that we would move consistently. Then comfort became the goal. Modern life has engineered physical effort out of existence. We sit to work, sit to travel, sit to relax. Entire days pass, where the only significant movement is from one chair to another. On the surface, this feels efficient, but beneath that convenience is a biological cost. Circulation slows, muscles atrophy, insulin sensitivity declines, lymphatic flow, essential for immune surveillance, becomes sluggish. The body interprets chronic inactivity as a signal that high-level resilience is no longer required. There's also a psychological dimension. Movement regulates mood through neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. It lowers cortisol, improves sleep quality, sharpens cognition. When we remove movement, we don't just weaken muscles, we destabilize mental clarity and emotional regulation. A sedentary body often produces a restless mind, and that restlessness drives further unhealthy coping mechanisms. More scrolling, more snacking, more avoidance. Philosophically, inactivity represents a subtle surrender. We have mistaken ease for progress. But resilience, biologically and psychologically, is built through manageable stress. Muscles strengthen when challenged. The cardiovascular system improves when pushed. Even immune cells respond more effectively when the body experiences moderate physical demand. Without that stimulus, the system downregulates. It conserves. It weakens. This isn't about extreme training or punishing workouts. In fact, excessive stress can harm immunity. The principle is far simpler. Regular, intentional movement signals vitality. Walking daily, lifting moderate weights, stretching, spending time outdoors. These are not fitness trends. They are survival signals to the body. The decline didn't happen because we stopped going to the gym. It happened because we stopped moving as a way of life. And if we want our defenses back, we must reintroduce the very stimulus that built them in the first place. A body that does not move forgets how to fight. Now let's widen the lens beyond the body and look at the environment surrounding it. Because our immune system does not operate in isolation. It is in constant dialogue with the air we breathe, the water we drink, the soil that grows our food. For most of human history, that dialogue was relatively clean, not perfect, not sterile, but natural. The immune system evolved to handle bacteria, seasonal changes, and environmental microbes. What it did not evolve for was chronic exposure to synthetic chemicals, industrial pollutants, and microscopic particles saturating the air. Over the last century, industrial progress has transformed our world. It has extended life expectancy, improved infrastructure, and increased comfort, but it has also introduced a silent burden. Air pollution introduces fine particulate matter that penetrates deep into the lungs and bloodstream, triggering systemic inflammation. Contaminated water carries heavy metals and endocrine-disrupting compounds. Agricultural chemicals alter the microbial diversity of soil, which ultimately affects the nutritional quality of our food. The immune system's job is to distinguish friend from foe. When it is constantly bombarded by unfamiliar toxins, it becomes dysregulated. Sometimes it becomes overactive, contributing to allergies and autoimmune conditions. Other times it becomes exhausted, less efficient at responding to genuine threats. Chronic inflammation becomes the background setting of modern physiology, not because of a single dramatic exposure, but because of continuous low-level stress. There is also a philosophical dimension here. In pursuing convenience and economic growth, we externalized costs. We treated the environment as separate from ourselves, as if polluting the air would not eventually pollute our lungs. But biology does not recognize that separation. The boundary between outside and inside is thinner than we think. Every breath is an exchange. Every sip of water is an integration. This is not an argument against progress. It is an argument for responsibility. We cannot expect robust health while ignoring environmental integrity. Small choices matter. Supporting cleaner energy, reducing plastic use, filtering drinking water, spending time in natural spaces. These actions may seem modest, but they reduce cumulative stress on the immune system. We often ask why our defenses feel weak. Perhaps the better question is this: how strong can a body be when the world around it is constantly challenging its balance? If we want stronger immunity, we must start by respecting the environment that immunity depends on. And finally, we come to something less visible, but equally powerful: rhythm. The human organism is not just a collection of organs, it is a system governed by cycles: sleep and wakefulness, light and darkness, stress and recovery. For most of history, these rhythms were synchronized with nature. We woke with sunlight, worked during the day, rested when it grew dark. Stress was acute and purposeful: a hunt, a threat, a challenge, followed by recovery. Modern life has fractured that rhythm. We stay awake long after sunset exposed to artificial light that disrupts melatonin production and confuses the brain's internal clock. We scroll, we answer emails, we consume stimulation late into the night. Sleep becomes shorter, lighter, fragmented. And sleep is not passive. During deep sleep, the immune system recalibrates. Cytokines are regulated. Tissue repair accelerates. The brain clears metabolic waste. When sleep is compromised, immune coordination weakens. Then there is chronic stress, not the short bursts our biology was designed for, but the constant psychological pressure of deadlines, financial strain, social comparison, and digital overload. Cortisol, when elevated persistently, suppresses immune efficiency, disrupts gut health, and increases systemic inflammation. The body remains in a subtle state of threat, even when no immediate danger exists. Sunlight, too, has been neglected. Moderate exposure regulates circadian rhythm, supports vitamin D production, and influences mood stability. Yet, many of us move from indoor home to indoor office, disconnected from natural light. The immune system interprets this disconnection as dysregula, but so philosophically. This reflects a deeper imbalance. We have confused productivity with worth. Rest is often seen as weakness. Slowness is labeled inefficiency. But biology does not negotiate with cultural narratives. It demands recovery. It requires balance. Without restoration, resilience fades. This is not about perfection. It is about intentional correction, protecting 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, creating boundaries with technology at night, seeking morning sunlight, building moments of stillness into the day. These are not luxuries. They are biological necessities. When rhythm is restored, defenses strengthen naturally. The immune system thrives not under constant pressure, but under balanced cycles of effort and recovery. If we continue to sacrifice rest for urgency, we will continue to sacrifice resilience for productivity. And perhaps the real question is this: what is the value of achievement if we lose the strength to sustain it?